I didn't plan to become a drug mule. Not in here. Not behind the walls where every breath feels borrowed. It started with one tiny package and ended with me owing favors I couldn't pay back. You know how people say, everyone in prison's gotta hustle? Yeah. Well, mine started on a Sunday. Visitation day. The smell of burnt coffee and disinfectant mixed with perfume and cheap hope. The hall buzzed, plastic chairs scraping, guards barking names. And me, sitting there, pretending to be calm, while my heart was slamming against my ribs like it wanted out. He walked in late, Luis. My boyfriend. At least, that's what I called him before I realized love was just another kind of currency in here. He had that same cocky smile, gold chain flashing when he leaned across the table. The guards had already patted him down, but that didn't mean much. People found ways. They always do. He slid his hand over mine, warm, rough, confident. Got something for you, Mommy, he whispered. And that's when my stomach flipped. He smiled, small, like it was nothing. Like he was giving me gum. But I knew that look, the one that said, "Don't make a scene." So I smiled back, even as my palms went slick. Because saying no wasn't an option anymore. The guards were watching. Cameras everywhere. But somehow, Luis slipped it, a tiny balloon, no bigger than a thumb, into my palm under the table. I clenched my hand. My body went cold. "You still love me, right?" he murmured. And I swear, for half a second, I wanted to tell him no. But I didn't. Because in here, love isn't about feelings. It's about survival. After the visit, I walked back to the strip search room. That's when the real panic set in. You've never felt fear until you've had something inside you that could destroy your life twice over. If the guards found it, solitary, new charges, maybe more. If they didn't, well, then I owed people. That was the deal. The fluorescent light flickered above me, buzzing like a fly. My throat was dry. Hands up. Mouth open, the officer barked. Officer Sloan. She always stared too long, like she enjoyed it. I swallowed hard and tried to breathe evenly. Cough, she said. I did. Once. Twice. Nothing. She narrowed her eyes, then smirked. Go on. Get dressed. I walked out trying not to shake. Back in the block, the noise hit me, steel doors, laughter, the sound of someone crying into a pillow. I went straight to the showers. That's where Roxanne found me. Roxy. My cellmate. The kind of woman who smiles when she's about to cut you. You got it? She whispered. I froze. How do you? She pressed a finger to her lips. Don't play dumb, sweetheart. You think Luis didn't tell me? That's when it hit me. Luis. Her Luis. He'd been with her before me. Maybe during. Maybe always. My chest tightened. He said you'd pass it to me, she continued. And I'd handle the rest. I wanted to scream. To tell her to go to hell. But I couldn't. Because she had power, the kind that didn't come from size or strength. It came from who owed her. And by the end of that night, I was on her list. I waited until lights out. My hands were shaking as I crouched by the toilet. That's where we hid things, the tank, under the lid. I pulled it out carefully, that little balloon that had almost gotten me caught. I didn't even know what was inside. Didn't matter. All that mattered was getting it to Roxy. I tapped on the wall, 3 soft knocks. Her signal. She slipped into my cell like smoke. Good girl, she whispered. I handed it over, and she smiled, soft, dangerous. You just made us both a lot of money. The next morning, everything felt wrong. People were watching me. Whispers followed me from the chow line to the yard. Even Officer Sloan was acting different, too quiet, too polite. Then, during count, Roxy didn't show. Cell 214? Empty. The guards stormed in. 10 minutes later, they dragged her out, wrists cuffed, face pale. They said she overdosed. But that wasn't the truth. Because that same night, a note slid under my door. One line, in pencil. You owe me now. No name. No signature. Just that. You know that feeling when you realize the danger isn't over, it's only changed shape? That was me. Sitting in my bunk, staring at the note, heart pounding. Because if Roxy was gone, then someone else had taken her place. And whoever they were, they already knew what I'd done. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound felt like footsteps. Every whisper, a threat. By morning, I decided I had to find out who sent that note. But when I stepped into the hallway, Officer Sloan was waiting. She leaned close, her voice low enough that only I could hear. Next time, she said, don't make me cover for you again. I froze. Cover for me? She smiled, slow, deliberate. Let's just say I found your little secret yesterday. And I made it disappear. My stomach dropped. What do you want? I whispered. Her smile widened. Oh, sweetheart. You'll find out soon enough. And that's when I realized. The drugs weren't the trap. I was. You ever wake up knowing your life doesn't belong to you anymore? That morning, I did. The note. The whisper. Officer Sloan's smile. They kept replaying in my head like a film stuck on loop. I didn't even know what scared me more, the idea that she knew, or the way she enjoyed letting me know she knew. In here, power doesn't come from uniforms or keys. It comes from secrets. And I had just handed her mine. At breakfast, I couldn't eat. My hands shook too much to hold the tray steady. The noise in the chow hall was loud, laughter, shouts, trays clattering, but it all sounded far away, like I was underwater. Sloan walked by with her clipboard, her boots clicking slow. When her eyes met mine, she winked. That one gesture felt like a gun pressed against my back. After count, she called me to the supply room. No witnesses. No cameras. It smelled like bleach and metal. The hum of the fluorescent light filled the silence. She stood with her arms crossed, leaning against the shelf like she was bored. You're a smart girl, Rivera, she said. Smart girls don't throw their lives away for idiots like Luis. I didn't answer. My throat was dry. She stepped closer, close enough that I could smell her perfume, sharp, expensive, out of place here. You owe me, she said softly. And you're going to pay that debt. My heart sank. How? A small smile. There's another package coming next week. You're going to move it, same way. But this time, you bring it to me. I stared at her, stunned. You're in on this? She chuckled. Don't act surprised. You think drugs get in here without a few of us looking the other way? I didn't know whether to feel sick or relieved. Maybe both. But why me? I whispered. Her eyes darkened. Because you're already dirty, Rivera. You just haven't realized how deep yet. Then she leaned in, her breath brushing my ear. And if you ever try to cross me, I'll make sure you never see daylight again. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. The dorm was quiet except for the hum of the vents. Every creak of the metal bed, every cough down the hall made me flinch. I kept thinking about Luis, how he'd started all this, how easily he'd passed me from one predator to another. Love, I realized, had nothing to do with it. I was just a body that could hide things. By Thursday, word had spread, a new shipment was coming in. Nobody said it out loud, but the glances said enough. In the yard, a tall woman named Dina sat beside me on the bench. She was one of Roxy's old crew, muscles, tattoos, and eyes that saw too much. "I heard you took Roxy's place," she said. I froze. "I didn't take anything." "Relax." She smirked. She owed a lot of people. Somebody had to fill the gap. "Looks like that's you." I stood to walk away, but she grabbed my wrist. "Just remember, the guards don't play fair. Especially Sloane." My pulse spiked. "You know about her?" Dina's smirk faded. "Everybody does. She runs her own business. You mess up, she doesn't send you to solitary, she sends you to the infirmary." She let go of my wrist and stood. "Be careful what you hide for her. Some debts don't get paid off." The visit came Sunday again. Same smell. Same buzzing lights. But no Luis. Instead, a man I didn't recognize, tall, gray hoodie, sunglasses. He gave his name as Tony. When I sat across from him, he didn't even look at me. Just slid a gum wrapper under the table. Inside, a capsule, sealed tight in tape. My stomach twisted. I didn't want to do it again. But Sloane was watching from the corner. I could feel her eyes on me, waiting. So I did it. Same trick. Same swallow of shame. Back in the search room, Sloane was waiting instead of the usual guard. She locked the door behind me. "Show me," she said. I hesitated. "Not here." She laughed. "Oh, sweetheart. You think I haven't done this before?" I could feel my whole body trembling. I turned my back, heart pounding. When I turned back around, she was smiling again, holding the capsule in her gloved hand like a trophy. "Perfect," she said. "You're getting good at this." I stared at her. "What's in it?" She tucked it into her vest. "Let's just say it's worth more than your life." Then she stepped closer, too close. Her fingers brushed my cheek, a mock caress. "You should thank me, you know. Without me, you'd be rotting in seg." I jerked back. "You're disgusting." She smiled wider. "Careful. Gratitude keeps you alive. Attitude doesn't." Then she opened the door and shoved me out into the hallway. That night, I cried in the shower for the first time since my sentencing. The water was lukewarm, the smell of mold heavy. I pressed my hands against the wall and tried to wash it all off, the fear, the humiliation, the filth inside me. But no matter how long I stood there, it wouldn't go away. Days passed. No one said a word about the drop. But people were looking at me differently. Some smiled. Some avoided eye contact. And I started to understand, in here, silence is currency. Everyone knew what I was doing. They just pretended not to. Until one afternoon, a note slipped into my laundry bag. Same handwriting as before. "One more delivery. Then you're free." Free. That word made me laugh out loud, bitter, broken. Freedom wasn't real in here. It was just another lie. Still, I told myself I'd do it. Just one more. But then Dina found me in the hallway. "Don't do it," she said quietly. The last girl who did 3 runs for Sloane, she disappeared. I swallowed hard. Disappeared how? Dina's eyes met mine. They said overdose. But her body never left through the main gate. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear her next words. You think Sloane's untouchable? She's not. Someone's watching her. But if you're smart, you'll disappear before she notices. That night, I couldn't sleep. The walls felt closer, the air thicker. I kept hearing Roxy's voice in my head, you just made us both a lot of money. And now she was gone. I got up, slipped a piece of paper from my mattress, and started writing a letter to Luis. But halfway through, I stopped. What could I say? That he'd sold me? That he'd made me into something I swore I'd never be? Tears blurred the ink. Then I heard it, footsteps outside my cell. Slow. Heavy. Then a voice, low and familiar. Lights out, Rivera? Sloane's whisper. I froze. Get some rest, she said. You've got a big day tomorrow. The sound of her boots faded, leaving only the echo of my heartbeat. That's when I knew the next delivery wasn't just another job. It was a setup. And if I went through with it, I wasn't coming back. You ever feel the walls closing in, like they're breathing with you, waiting for you to make a mistake? That's what it felt like the morning of my last run. The sky outside the narrow windows was a sick kind of gray. The air smelled like bleach and nerves. Even the guards were quieter than usual, like they knew something was coming. And I guess they did. Because by then, everyone was in on it, except me. Sloane found me during breakfast. She didn't say a word, just pointed her chin toward the hallway. I followed, trying not to look nervous. We ended up in the same supply closet, that little metal box that smelled like rust and ammonia. She closed the door behind us and leaned back against it, arms crossed. You ready? She asked. For what? She smiled. Don't play dumb, Rivera. You know what's coming in today. I hesitated. What if I don't want to do it? Her eyes turned cold. You don't get to want things. You owe me. And today, you're paying in full. That sentence felt like a sentence within a sentence, the kind that doesn't end when your time does. My stomach twisted. I nodded, because what else could I do? She stepped closer, lowering her voice. This one's different. You don't touch the product. You just pick it up from visitation and keep it safe until I come for it tonight. Simple. I stared at her, searching for the catch. There was always a catch. What happens if I refuse? I whispered. She smiled again, almost kind. Then I'll tell Internal Affairs where to find your fingerprints on the last 2 packages. And they'll add 10 years to your sentence. There it was. The knife under the smile. Visitation was at noon. I walked there like I was walking to my own execution. The air felt heavy, like thunder was building somewhere unseen. No Luis this time. No Tony. Just a woman, maybe mid-40s, blonde, expensive jewelry, eyes that didn't belong in this place. She gave her name as Carter. When she sat down, she didn't smile. Didn't blink. Just looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're the one Sloane picked?" My throat closed. Yeah. She slid a folded napkin across the table. Inside, something small and solid wrapped in tape. I stared at it. What is it? She leaned forward. Not your problem. Just make sure Sloane gets it. Her perfume was too strong, like gardenias covering up rot. I took the napkin, hands trembling, and hid it in my waistband. Carter stood and walked away before the guards even called time. Back in the search room, Sloane wasn't there this time. Just Officer Dempsey, younger, new, by-the-book type. Arms out, she said, gloved hands running down my sides. My heart hammered. If she found it. But she didn't. She was too nervous, too focused on not messing up. When she waved me through, my knees almost gave out. The rest of the day moved in slow motion. I worked laundry like usual, folding sheets, pressing uniforms, pretending not to feel the weight of that thing taped to my skin. Every minute, I expected Sloane to show up. But she didn't. Not at lunch. Not during count. Not even at shift change. By evening, my nerves were shredded. And then, finally, she appeared at my cell door. "Let's go," she said. We walked in silence down the corridor, her boots echoing, my heart matching the rhythm. She led me into an unused storage room near the infirmary. Dim light. The hum of a single bulb. "Hand it over," she said. I hesitated. "What's in it, Sloane?" Her gaze flickered, just for a second, and I saw it, fear. It was small, but it was there. "Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to," she said. But something in me snapped. All the fear, all the humiliation, it boiled over. "I deserve to know." I shouted. "You've used me like a damn mule, like I'm not even human." She stepped forward fast, grabbing my throat, pressing me against the wall. "Watch your mouth," she hissed. Her grip tightened. I could feel her pulse under her fingers, steady, calm. Mine was chaos. Then she whispered, "You think I enjoy this? You think I have a choice?" That threw me. "What?" She let go and turned away, pacing. "There are people above me, Rivera. You think I'm the one in control? I'm not. I'm just surviving, same as you." I didn't believe her. Not at first. But then she said something that made my blood run cold. "Carter isn't who you think she is. She works for internal affairs. This whole thing, it's a sting." My stomach dropped. "You set me up?" Her eyes met mine. "I tried to protect you. But it's too late. They're watching right now." Everything went silent for a heartbeat. Then, boom! The door burst open. Officers flooded the room, guns drawn, shouting orders. "Sloane! Hands up! Rivera, down on the floor!" I froze, heart racing. Sloane didn't move. For a second, I thought she'd comply. But then she reached into her vest, maybe for her badge, maybe not. Someone yelled, "She's armed." And the next second, gunfire. The sound was deafening. One shot. Then another. Sloane hit the ground hard. Blood spread fast across the floor, dark and quiet. They cuffed me even though I wasn't moving. Dragged me out of the room. My ears were ringing, my vision blurry. Carter was there, watching. Her face calm, detached. "You did good," she said coldly. "You got her." I stared at her. "Got her?" "She's dead." Carter shrugged. "Collateral. We needed evidence, and you delivered it." I realized then I'd never been part of Sloane's game. I'd been part of theirs. They questioned me for hours. Who gave me what? When? How? I told them everything, or at least, everything that didn't get me killed. They said I'd helped expose a corruption ring, drugs, extortion, trafficking through the staff. They said I'd done the right thing. But it didn't feel right. It felt hollow. Because Sloane might have been dirty, but she was also trapped, same as the rest of us. and I'd just been her weapon. Weeks passed. The investigation tore through the prison like fire. Guards were suspended. Inmates transferred. The whole place buzzed with rumors. They said Luis got picked up on the outside. That Carter vanished. That the new warden was clean. I didn't believe any of it. One afternoon, I was called to the warden's office. The same sterile smell, the same cold light. He looked at me over a stack of papers. "Rivera," he said, "your cooperation has been noted. There's talk of early release, maybe witness protection." I laughed. I couldn't help it. Release? From what? I'll never be free from this place. He frowned. "You helped us." I shook my head. "No. I just survived longer than she did." That night, I sat on my bunk, staring at the ceiling again. Same cracks. Same noise. Same ghosts. Roxy. Luis. Sloane. They were all still in here with me, in the walls, in my skin, in every breath I took. You know what the worst part is? Sometimes I still feel that package, that weight under my ribs. Even though it's gone, my body remembers. My guilt remembers. People think prison is about time. But it's not. It's about what you carry inside. And me? I carried everything. The lies. The fear. The blood. When they finally called my name for release, I didn't smile. Didn't cry. Didn't feel anything at all. I walked out those gates into the sunlight, and the first breath of free air burned my lungs. Because freedom wasn't what I imagined. It wasn't peace. It was knowing I'd never be the same person who walked in. I thought it was over. But 2 days later, I got a letter in the mail, no return address. Just one line, written in pencil. "You owe me now."